It's going to take a long time in order for Disney to either A, feel the squeeze of an outright boycott, if one can even be successful. I don't really think so. It's too far entrenched into just about everything entertainment and really cultural. So to try to see something that would be analogous to what happened to Bud Light, not terribly likely. So for them to be pressured into change, it's gonna take a long time. It's not one of those 0 to 60 4 months to bankruptcy type situations. I know the Bud Light's not quite bankrupt, but close enough. At least in our hearts and minds, right? And also too, if they realize that all of our choices and all of our decisions are really not shaping up and working out that well because, they're out there losing $1 billion this year. At least they're scheduled to. We'll gloss over that a little bit here in a second, but something else that they did last week as well, talked about it when this was hot off the presses, but them hiring a tranny to do a bunch of marketing in regards to pimping out the new Minnie Mouse line of stuff. It's a dude or a non-binary, whatever the hell they want to call themselves on a given day. A mouse, a house, a grouse, or a louse. I don't know. I don't care. But it's not too different from having the dude with a mustache work at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique handing out little girls' dresses. Huh? Got old Uncle Paul patrolling the grounds at Disney World that are looking even more barren as the days go on. So the media is trying to come up with ways in order to deflect from their golden goose. Disney movie losses blamed on tired franchises like Indiana Jones, too many superhero movies, and bloated blockbuster budgets. The only thing that I would think is reasonably true about that headline is the bloated blockbuster budgets, like getting to $250-300 million before marketing costs. That is an unsustainable model. Not every film that you can put out can make $1 billion. That was so anomalous that happened for Disney in 2019. Between 2018 and 2019, they had $9 billion releases. We all knew that wasn't gonna go on forever, even without the pandemic and all that stuff. It was just a culmination of so many different things. Your Star Wars trilogy, which you started out making $1 billion, and then the third film in the sequel trilogy only making half of the first film in the trilogy. Yeah, it just kind of shows that you guys kind of bumbled that. Captain Marvel, which everybody looks back and goes, ooh, that was kind of terrible, ended up making $1 billion because of the hype cycle. When did it release? Between Avengers and Infinity War, which made $1 billion, because again, the culmination of a decade-long storytelling event that is unprecedented throughout history. Oh yes, and Avengers Endgame, the highest non-Avatar grossing film in history. Yeah, it was going to make $1 billion because it was that bridge story, regardless of the quality of that film. We're going to be able to judge the quality of Captain Marvel when the Marvels ends up being excreted into theaters in November. So that film's going to lose a whole hell of a lot of money. But just run back that headline. Tired franchises like Indiana Jones and too many superhero films. That Indiana Jones 5 abomination should have made a lot of money. But why didn't it? Because the reputation of Lucasfilm has taken an indefensible, reputation-ruining hit. Too many superhero movies? You take a look at the best grossing films of all time, and thanks to the past decade or so, that entire list is littered with superhero films. If they were written well, if they were marketed well, if you had proper casting in these films, people would still be turning out to them. But no. You shit away all the goodwill during Stage 4 for Marvel, throughout the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, and for Disney, in an animation sense, lumping Pixar on that, you weren't telling any innovative stories. You could get away with it once, you might be able to sneak it past them twice, but the third time, they'll just look at you. It could be amazing. Probably the best example of this is Andor for Star Wars. I've heard a lot of people review it, from people saying that it's boring, I hate it, to it's a really good story. It's just not gonna grab your attention like the rest of the stupid shooty bang bang woo lightsaber shit that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau shit out. But it's a really good story. Give it a shot. But if you don't, I don't blame you, because the entire brand of Star Wars is now a streaming property. Let that sink in for a second. Probably, prior to this decade, prior to, Disney purchasing it, the most profitable, the easiest $1 billion franchise, the most lucrative entertainment IP in the world was Star Wars. And now you have to get little shitty one-off miniseries on their failing streaming service. Not because they've run out of ideas. Fucking sequels can be great. There are some series that start off absolute dog shit and then eventually evolve into something better, long-running franchises. Television shows, another great example. Just take a look at The Simpsons. Okay, I always look at The Simpsons and, the epoch of about the first 10 to 12 seasons. But the first season and the second season, if we're going to be honest, not great. Not really great at all. Then from season 3 to about season 8, I could pretty much say it still stands the test of time. That shit is still quotable, it is still memorable, and it is still well written because people actually gave a shit. In vast droves, people didn't start to turn away from The Simpsons until about, season 15, 16, after years and years of repetitive, bad, lazy writing. Guest appearance after guest appearance. It had all the goodwill in the world. It was the most popular show on television. We can continue to run down example after example, but you just can't say, my superhero fatigue. If they were still written well, they would still be popular. Something that's definitely going to go ahead and reinforce their misconception that, it's just they need new ideas, bro. It's just tired franchise fatigue, is definitely going to be the Snow White live-action remake. Disney made its bones in 1937 on the animated classic that was Snow White. And in 2024, when this also gets dumped into theaters, there's a good chance that it could bookend the tale of Disney. Because, okay, who have you cast in the two most important roles? Gal Gadot, who, God love her, very attractive woman. Brain dead and can't act her to save her life. But God love her, she's attractive. And she is the villain. Now, normally villains, and especially Disney villains, are supposed to be over the top, super charismatic, chewing up the scenery every time that they're on your screen. Can Gal Gadot do that? Well, she sure as shit going to try, and there's going to be some very meme-worthy things coming out from there. But then also from Snow White herself, well, there's more video clips of her coming out, and we got to go ahead and pace ourselves here, kids. But first and foremost, what is Gal saying about the old casting decision for her to be the evil queen? Well, Gal Gadot opens up about upcoming live-action remake of Snow White and reveals she had to audition to land the role of the evil queen. Yeah, that's why I did a little bit of pre-screening on this one, and it says, despite being an A-list actress, is she really? Like, if she qualifies, maybe I'm out of the loop on this. If she qualifies as an A-list actress, maybe that's why there's a popular phrase that there are no movie stars anymore. Maybe that's true if she's at the top of the list, because oof, that's tough. That's real tough. Gal Gadot slips into the shoes of the evil queen in the upcoming live-action musical fantasy film Snow White. Oh my god, is she gonna sing? That's going to be great. Despite being, yes, an A-list actress and playing Wonder Woman in 2 feature films, well, one went straight to streaming and the other one inexplicably also made $1 billion for being terrible. The actress found herself having to audition to land the role for the remake of Walt Disney's 1937 animated feature film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Well, it's no longer Seven Dwarfs, right? It turns out director Mark Webb and the producers weren't concerned about her acting abilities, should be, when they asked Gadot to perform a scene for the screenplay. It was the first time I had to audition for a project in a while, the Israeli actress revealed during an interview with GQ before adding, and then I talked to James Gunn about Wonder Woman 3. Oh wait, that's not happening. Why? Because of your guilt? They need to make sure I can sing because this is a musical, and they found out I act as well as I sing, so please make sure to buy your tickets. Gadot, 38. Went on to share about her lengthy preparation, practicing her singing ahead of the audition. And yeah, man, she's supposed to be, at least in the classical telling of the fairy tale, she's supposed to be envious of Snow White's beauty. We still got more on this before, we compare and contrast. Fast and Furious franchise start. She was in 1 film, and then she was in Fast 10, which didn't make all that much money, which goes to show you can only get so ridiculous for so long before people just tune out of a franchise. Those films make bank. until the most recent one. Then it made money. It wasn't a loss or anything. It just wasn't up to the standard that we've seen before from the franchise. Looks like Jason Momoa hopping on the bandwagon asshole first. He's gay in that film, you know. Didn't really attract the customers like you thought they might have. It's almost like, you know, guys like Jason Momoa because, hey, he seems like a pretty cool dude. Like, he's never made any statements that just make him adversarial to the audience, and then chicks like him because, well, he's a giant fucking muscly Samoan. Like, okay, I understand. I totally fucking get Jason Momoa. And it's kind of weird because he's almost like the female Gal Gadot, the male Gal Gadot in the looks department, but on the acting side of things, like, he's been honing his craft for decades. Gal Gadot just won a fucking beauty pageant in Israel back in 2004, so I'm not mad. I'm just saying it's like women live life on easy mode. The new film, which stars Rachel Zegler, oh my god, in the leading role of Snow White, will feature a new song by, I have no idea who, Benj Pasek and Justin Paul. Is he, the third Paul brother? Songwriting duo behind The Greatest Showman and Dear Evan Hansen. I wish I knew what any of those were. So for a month, I was working on this song, and then I auditioned, and we filmed the song, and I got the part. It was very exciting. She added, it's so delicious and delightful, and I could really go big and theatrical. Yeah, this is gonna be fucking meme fodder for a very long time. But at least, you know, man, she's lauding the fact that I had to practice, I had to hone my craft, you know. I'm really excited to be a part of this because, okay, outside of her dumb fuck things that she's saying in interviews, she had at least is putting forward the idea that, yeah, no, I had to work in order to get here. I really hope that it's popular. I really hope that it's good because, well, outside of the one-off success of Wonder Woman, haven't really had a lot of successes in her resume, and she could kind of use one before she ends up getting that brand that Chris Evans has. It's like, yeah, Captain America, great role for you. You're not a movie star, but you're great Captain America. Kind of like Gal Gadot hoping that Wonder Woman 3 happens, and James Gunn is going, not now, just wait a little bit. I still think that they're probably working on Wonder Woman 3. It's just James Gunn wants to just try to get past Blue Beetle, which is going to be in theaters. Everybody's going to fucking forget about it by the time Friday rolls around, but that's supposed to be its opening day. You're going to buy out a theater. Don't worry, there won't be any demand for it. But he's got to try to limp DCU to the, you know, the starting line. Oh, it's just a fucking abomination. Gal Gadot is going to be over 40 years old. Going to be over 40 by the time that a Wonder Woman project can even get started. And they fired Henry Cavill for being too old at 40 to play Superman. Hilarious. But like I said, man, okay, that's supposed to be the evil queen. You know, the person that is supposed to be envious of the young Snow White. I don't see it. I really don't see it. The term mid gets thrown around a lot, but Rachel Zegler, even when I see her done up, it's like, yeah, she's looking pretty good. She's as mid as it gets. Doesn't have a great body, isn't necessarily attractive, and what drags her down even more is just her insufferable personality. Here's the thing, men and women are different. I think anybody who's watching my videos this far into it, knows that that's the fact. And when it comes to attraction, women are attractive up front. Guys have this binary switch in their head. Would they hit it or would they not? It's going to take a whole hell of a lot in order for men to just flip their stance on one of those decisions after the fact. And then once you go from the would you fuck or would you not, you can eventually go onto the sliding 1 to 10 scale or however you want to rate them. So yeah, you take a look at Rachel's, and I'll just go ahead and I'll run it through you from my lens on this one. Would I hit? Of course. She's reasonably attractive, and that's about it. Okay, where would I put her on a scale? She's as 5 as it gets. 1000%. She is the definition of mid. And it's hilarious because, okay, she's been around for a little bit. I've never heard her lauded as one of these virtuoso talents when it comes to acting. It's not like she can, you know, shuffle around from film to film, from set to set on her good looks like Gal Gadot can, a legitimate beauty queen. So what is it? Well, she also got the nod from Steven Spielberg because her first big break was West Side Story, which was directed by, you guessed it, the kingmaker in Hollywood for the past few decades. Even though his star has kind of waned a little bit, he is still the guy who tabs the people, who runs Hollywood. Why do you think Kathleen Kennedy is still at Lucasfilm? Because she was a producer for Steven Spielberg. Why do you think J.J. Abrams got all the breaks that he could, even after everybody figured out, wow, you really like that mystery box, but never actually revealing what's inside of it? You're kind of a hack. He was an understudy of Steven Spielberg. There are many more such examples that are out there, but if you get tabbed by Steven, you get more opportunities than anybody else in Hollywood. And she just happens to be maybe the last beneficiary of that because, oh boy, is she trying to tank this and every other project into the future. We seen her on the picket line. I was in costume for 18 hours as an iconic Disney princess, and I deserve to be paid for every minute that film is streamed. I don't think you want that deal, because that normally implies anybody's going to be watching it after everybody just stares at the dumpster fire, a gaped mouth going, they actually paid money and recorded that. Holy shit. But that's not how it works. You negotiate all of your rights and your points and on the back end beforehand, but you know that. And you don't care because you're entitled and have never been told no. This is what happens, man. You get all of these mid-chicks running around thinking that they're 8s, 9s, and 10s punching out of their league. But the moment that you say, no, shut the fuck up, they don't know how to move after that because they've never heard it before in their fucking life. Because, yes, in a sea of 2s and 3s that just waddle through the streets, or rather the air-conditioned shopping malls that we see out there, she looks fine. But in actuality, if we're going to go ahead and objectively rank some shit, she's whatever, man. She's not special. Nor is Gal Gadot. Nobody's really special. But the way that she acts, though, oh boy, does she think that she is just the second coming of Lauren Bacall. Oh my god. Disney picked a Latina woman who hates Snow White to play Snow White. I just find that really, really funny. Given the fact that, okay, just keep this in context. So this was tweeted out by Rachel, back in the cut, July 15th, 2023. Extremely appreciative of all the love from those defending me online. Yes, a simp for your... she's supposed to be Snow White. She's not supposed to be the evil queen, but oh, okay. But please don't tag me in nonsensical discourse about my casting. I really, truly do not want to see it. So I leave you with these photos. I hope every child knows that they can be a princess no matter what. Hi, I like that everybody is engaging in discourse about me because it's all about me at the end of the day. So yes, continue to please talk about me. And take a look at all of my pictures growing up. I did, in fact, love Snow White, blah, blah, blah. I grew up in a time and I loved being a princess. Well, kind of a nondescript princess. Yes, Belle, Snow White. I don't know what that one is supposed to be. Maybe that's just a generic tiara and all that stuff. But yes, I had 2 pictures of being Belle, 1 picture of being Snow White. I have a very strong attachment to being a Disney princess, blah, 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 all that shit. Until you listen to this clip and they realize, hey, wait a minute.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
Oh, I watched it once and never picked it up again. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cut her a break on this one because some of those old Disney cartoons when I was growing up, and especially whatever was on, what was the Disney Sunday night shit? Wild World of Disney and Sunday Nights with Disney. Whatever, you guys probably know. I just thought about this as well, but some of those old animated cartoons, they were kind of creepy and unsettling. But no, they're still great. So I do kind of understand what she's talking about here. So yeah, that would be fine if she was just going to say that. And it's like, you know, growing up, man, those were so weird. But then I watched it again and it's like, wow, this is a really powerful, iconic film that launched Disney. Isn't that amazing to think about? And then I'm just so lucky to be able to bring that to a live action setting. Wouldn't that be nice to hear from somebody? Well, we've heard from Rachel before, and we know that that's not the path that she's going to travel.
Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once, and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures.
If you're going to be if you're going to be playing the role, you should probably know all the ancillary material as well. I'm just saying. I know it's the theme park ride and all that stuff, but come on now.
Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched.
Okay, no, I'll just let her continue on in this one, but yeah, never revisit it again. Never, ever once. Nope, never revisit it again. Yeah, 100%. I totally agree.
It for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film. I just mean that it's
Right, for the first time. Yeah,
no longer 1937.
Yeah.
And we
we already heard this clip. I just want to hear it for Gal Gadot. So just a little aside that she comes in. No, it's going to be. It's not great. She can save herself.
Absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming.
Of being fantastic and powerful, and then just going and being more fantastic and powerful. Well, how about more elaboration about the prince and the role of the prince in this film? The new Snow White says the prince was a creepy stalker and suggests that all the scenes of the prince could be cut out. Now, are they talking about the live action film? Don't know, because it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything like the original fairy tale or the 1937 cartoon. They're just wearing the name recognition as a creepy skin suit. But yeah, what does she have to say on this?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937.
We know.
Very evidently so.
Very evident. Oh my God, she's an idiot.
There's a big focus on her love story.
Yeah, because guess what? Generally speaking, people want to work together. And you know what? Men like women, women like men, and they kind of want to build a relationship together. It's almost like every girl growing up kind of dreams of being in a successful relationship one day. Every guy growing up wants to be the knight to save the damsel in distress. It's almost like that's a story as old as time and something that's kind of intrinsic to both men and women. But no. A little Hispanic chick is just going to come along and smash the paradigm. Hasn't worked out well for Disney before, but no. Rachel's going to save us all, guys. Trust me, she has all the answers. She's a smart one.
With a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
God, is she just insufferable? Like, her body language is just flippant. And again, it reinforces my opinion and my thought that, yeah, she's never been told no in her life. It's like, yeah, weird. Shut the fuck up. If it was somebody that you liked, okay, if it was somebody that you found attractive and he was around and he was asking you out, you wouldn't think that it's fucking creepy. You're just playing out that meme where it's just somebody that you don't necessarily find attractive. L for the guy that was cast is supposed to be at least the romantic interest who was supposed to be the prince, but then ended up getting repurposed to the leader of the Wanderers, whatever the fuck's going to be following around Snow White, the Not Dwarfs. Shout out Peter Dinklage. But she is just so elevated above the conversation that there's nothing likable about her delivery at all. She just, she is terrible. Like they said, like End Wokeness says, she's a walking PR disaster for Disney. You can't find anybody more insufferable. Back in the days of Avengers Endgame, those interview circuits that all of those guys were doing, shout out Brie Larson on that one. Didn't think anybody could be worse in an interview than old Brie, but here we go. The younger model comes through, and, well, Brie, you can go take your giant feet and take a swim, you fucking weirdo.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah.
Yo, that's a fucking flippant. Oh, yeah, it's great. He's gonna be right. Yeah, whatever. But it's all about me.
It's it's one of those things that I think everyone's gonna have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether
what was the central conflict in the central plot in the original Snow White? Oh, great. Why'd you call it Snow White? You're not even, well, you know.
Whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Oh my God, she is the worst. Doesn't she remind you of somebody? Oh my God, she's just somebody who hasn't really earned their position, was kind of handpicked in order to be a representative, okay, to just have a vaguely likable, marginally attractive appeal to a certain impressionable demographic. Yeah, doesn't this seem like the most apt shit in the world? You know, she actually tweeted this out, and it makes total fucking sense. October 30th, 2019. Yeah, so she's been like this forever. And I know she's young or something like that. I think she's under 25. I'm not entirely sure, 24 or 22 or something like that. Maybe she'll grow out of it. But yeah, everybody was also thinking about that when it came to Emma Watson. Is that the name of Hermione? Yeah. The second coming of Charlize Theron, who also was talking the exact same stuff, thinking that, you know, her attractiveness would be evergreen and that she wouldn't have to be adopting African kids, so that she wouldn't live in a giant palace all alone, so she wouldn't have to hear herself walking around in her high heels that she definitely wears for herself, guys, so that it doesn't echo throughout her house where she's shuffling from room to room to find whatever half-drank bottle of wine is kicking around. Yeah, no, of course. She's just the next in a long line of insufferable feminists. And, well, West Side Story ain't shit. Snow White is teeing up to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, bombs in Disney history. And then you got a prequel to The Hunger Games coming out. I'm just going to go ahead and lay this out right now. I don't think that there's going to be much left in the old Rachel Zegler tank at the end of the day. But hey, man, maybe you got a future in politics. Who knows? Because it seems like you're out there making friends. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.